am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. The end of suffering cannot be lost. The gift of everything can be but gain. You only give, you never take away. And you created me to be like you. So sacrifice becomes impossible for me as well as you. I too must give, and so all things are given unto me forever and forever. As I was created, I remain. Your Son can make no sacrifice, for he must be complete, because I am your Son. I cannot lose, for I can only give, and everything is mine eternally. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. The mercy and the peace of God are free. Salvation has no cost. It is a gift that must be freely given and received. And it is this that we would learn. It is this that we would learn today. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. A little cold today, but it's sunshiny, and I didn't put my umbrella up because I want the sun to shine on me. I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks. I'm glad you've come to join me. Hopefully you get as much out of A Course in Miracles as I do. Try to make it the easy way to learn it. We're ready for lesson 343 in A Course in Miracles, which is I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. Isn't that nice to know? No sacrifice. Just find your true self and be your true self. You might have to sacrifice your old self, but that's an illusion anyway. It's something you want to give up. If only you knew all the devastation it brings, all the pain it brings, you wouldn't want any part of it. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. Here on Sunday, December the 8th of 2024. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. The end of suffering cannot be loss. The gift of everything can be but gain. You only give. You never take away. And you created me to be like you. So sacrifice becomes impossible for me as well as you. I too must give. And so all things are given unto me forever and forever. As I was created, I remain. Your Son can make no sacrifice, for he must be complete, having the function of completing you. I am complete because I am your Son. I cannot lose, for I can only give, and everything is mine eternally. The mercy and the peace of God are free. Salvation has no cost. It is a gift that must be freely given and received. And it is this that we would learn today. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. Again, on that last little part, the mercy and the peace of God are free. Salvation has no cost. It is a gift that must be freely given and received. And it is this that we would learn today. A gift that must be freely given and freely received. and it is this we must learn today. Be sure to go into your morning and your before you go to bed again, longer practice period, your quiet time, your meditation, your mindfulness, whatever you want to call it. Jesus calls it your practice periods. and just sit in the silence with this thought as you enter in. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. And if you find your mind wandering, bring it back to the quiet, to the stillness, into God's presence with this idea again. I'm not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. But at some point, try to get to the place where your mind is still and quiet and able to be taught, able to be shown. And just be still and quiet and let God teach you. You may not notice anything that actually takes place at that time. It might come, my teacher Charlie used to say, you may not get anything out of your meditation as you see it, but you'll just, all of a sudden you'll get a thought during the day that wouldn't have come unless you'd had that quiet time. Okay, and then also throughout the day, be sure to do your hourly remembrances and find something to give God thanks for, ask Him for direction. Be sure that you're at peace, but every hour, try for the top of the hour, but sometime during the hour. The reason I say at the top of the hour is because if we ever got together as a group, if we were all practiced of getting together at the top of the hour, we could have a group quiet moment. Could be really a powerful community building activity. Okay, but other than that, he says he wants us to have a little structure in our life. I'm not sure I understand all the reasons why, but he did tell us that. Okay, I trust him so much because he's taught me so many things already that the things I don't understand, I just say, okay, you've shown me enough that I wouldn't be very smart to not follow you. Okay, let's see. Let's go look at our associated reading for today. What is a miracle? And let me put in a reminder. Be sure to be ready for January 1. We'll start at the beginning and go all the way through the book again. And if for some reason I don't show up, or something happens to me, or I don't get the video uploaded, do it on your own. But I try to make it a point to. It's a major part of my life to show up for these videos and encourage you to follow, do A Course in Miracles. I try to make it the easy way to get through A Course in Miracles. What is a miracle? A miracle is a correction. It does not create nor really change at all. It merely looks on devastation and reminds the mind that what it sees is false. It undoes error, but does not attempt to go beyond perception, nor exceed the function of forgiveness. Thus it stays within time's limits, yet it paves the way for the return of timelessness and love's awakening. For fear must slip away under the gentle remedy it brings. A miracle contains the gift of grace, for it is given and received as one, and thus it illustrates the law of truth the world does not obey, because it fails entirely to understand its ways. A miracle inverts perception, which was upside down before, and thus it ends the strange distortions that were manifest. Now is perception open to the truth. Now is forgiveness seen as justified. Forgiveness is the home of miracles. The eyes of Christ deliver them to all they look upon in mercy and in love. Perception stands corrected in His sight, and what was meant to curse has come to bless. Each lily of forgiveness offers all the world the silent miracle of love, and each is laid before the Word of God upon the universal altar to Creator and creation in the light of perfect purity and endless joy. The miracle is taken first on faith, because to ask for it implies the mind has been made ready to conceive of what it cannot see and does not understand. Yet faith will bring its witnesses to show that what it rested on is really there, and thus the miracle will justify your faith in it and show it rested on a world more real than what you saw before, a world redeemed from what you thought was there. Miracles fall like drops of healing rain from heaven on a dry and dusty world, where starved and thirsty creatures come to die. Now they have water. Now the world is green. And everywhere the signs of life spring up and show that what is born can never die. And for what has life has immortality. For what has life has immortality. That last sentence, everywhere the signs of life spring up and show that what is born can never die. For what has life has immortality. Okay, well, let's go take a look at our psychotherapy purpose, process, and practice reading. And we're ready for section with chapter 2, the process of psychotherapy, section Roman numeral 5, the process of healing. Yesterday was it called the process of illness? Yeah, the process of illness. Today, the process of healing. While truth is simple, it must still be taught to those who have already lost their way in endless mazes of complexity. Endless mazes of complexity. That's how we've lost our way. The truth is simple, but we've lost our way in endless mazes of complexity. This is the great illusion. In its wake comes the inevitable belief that to be safe, one must control the unknown. This strange belief relies on certain steps which never reach to consciousness. First, it is ushered in by the belief that there are forces to be overcome to be alive at all. Now, ideas that are affecting us, but they don't reach to consciousness. That's why we want those quiet times, so that we can begin to see. I mentioned this yesterday. I want to really encourage it again today. Take those quiet times so that you can allow those things that don't reach consciousness to be spotted and to let go of them. If they have anything to do with sin and guilt, and you don't want them. We don't need judgment. Okay, first it is ushered in by the belief that there are forces to be overcome to be alive at all. And next, it seems as if these forces can be held at bay only by an inflated sense of self that holds in darkness what is truly felt and seeks to raise illusions to the truth. 2. Let us remember that the ones who come to us for help are bitterly afraid. What they believe will help can only harm. What they believe will harm alone can help. Progress becomes impossible until the patient is persuaded to reverse his twisted way of looking at the world, his twisted way of looking at himself. The truth is simple, yet it must be taught to those who think it will endanger them. It must be taught to those who will attack because they feel endangered, and to those who need the lessons, need the lesson of defenselessness above all else, to show them what is strength. Since I messed up on that sentence, let's read it again. So the truth is simple, and it must be taught to those who will attack because they feel endangered, and to those who need the lesson of defenselessness above all else, to show them what is strength. Paragraph 3. If this world were ideal, there could perhaps be ideal therapy, and yet it would be useless in an ideal state. In an ideal state, you wouldn't need any therapy, would you? We speak of ideal teaching in a world in which the perfect teacher could not long remain. The perfect psychotherapist is but a glimmer of a thought not yet conceived. But still we speak of what can yet be done in helping the insane within the bounds of the attainable. While they are sick, they can and must be helped. No more than that is asked of psychotherapy, no less than all he has to give is worthy of the therapist. For God himself holds out his brother as his Savior from the world. 4. Healing is holy. Nothing in the world is holier than helping one who asks for help. Catch that. Healing is holy. Nothing in the world is holier than helping one who asks for help. And two come very close to God in this attempt, however limited, however lacking in sincerity. Where two have joined for healing, God is there. And he has guaranteed that he will hear and answer them in truth. They can be sure that healing is a process he directs because it is according to his will. We have his word to guide us as we try to help our brothers. Let us not forget that we are helpless of ourselves and lean upon a strength beyond our little scope for what to teach as well as what to learn. 5. A brother seeking aid can bring us gifts beyond the heights perceived in any dream. He offers us salvation, for he comes to us as Christ and Savior. Wow. A brother seeking aid comes to us as Christ and Savior. What he asks is asked by God through him, and what you do for him becomes the gift we give to God. The sacred calling of God's Holy Son for help in his perceived distress can be but answered by his Father. The sacred calling of God's Holy Son for help in his perceived distress can be but answered by his Father. Yet he needs a voice through which to speak his holy word, a hand to reach his Son and touch his heart. In such a process, who could not be healed? This holy interaction is the plan of God himself, by which his Son is saved. Paragraph 6. For two have joined, and now God's promises are kept by him. The limits laid on both the patient and the therapist will count as nothing, for the healing has begun. What they must start, their Father will complete, for he has never asked for more than just the smallest willingness, the least advance, the tiniest of whispers of his name. The tiniest of whispers of his name is all that's needed to get this ball rolling, to get the healing moving. Let's read it again. The limits laid on both the patient and the therapist will count as nothing, for healing has begun. What they must start, their Father will complete, for he has never asked for more than just the smallest willingness, the least advance, the tiniest of whispers of his name. To ask for help, whatever form it takes, is but to call on him, for he will send his answer through the therapist who best can serve his Son in all his present needs. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Look what he says. To ask for help, whatever form it takes, is but to call on him, on calling God, and he will send his answer through the therapist who best can serve his Son in all his present needs. Perhaps the answer does not seem to be a gift from heaven. It may even seem to be a worsening and not a help. And yet let not the outcome not be judged by us. Yet let the outcome not be judged by us. 7. Somewhere all gifts of God must be received. In time, no effort can be made in vain. It is not our perfection that is asked in our attempts to heal. We are deceived already if we think there is a need of healing. Don't you think that we all are living in a lot of deception? We look around, we think there's a lot of need for healing. We don't realize that there's something going on behind what is the appearance, and that no healing's even needed. We are deceived already if we think there is a need of healing. And the truth will come to us only through one who seems to share our dream of sickness. Let us help him forgive himself for all the trespasses with which he would condemn himself without a cause. His healing is our own. And as we see the sinlessness in him come shining through the veil of guilt that shrouds the Son of God, we will behold in him the face of Christ and understand that it is but our own. And the last paragraph finishes section 8. Let us stand silently before God's will and do what it has chosen that we do. There is one way alone by which we come to where all dreams began, and it is there that we will lay them down to come in peace, to come away in peace forever. There is one way alone by which we come to where all dreams began, and it is there that we will lay them down to come away in peace forever. Hear a brother call for help and answer him. You want to wake up from the dream? Well, then listen to your brother's calls for help and answer them. It will be God to whom you answer, for you called on him. There is no other way to hear his voice. There is no other way to seek his Son. There is no other way to find yourself. Holy is healing, for the Son of God returns to heaven through its kind embrace. For healing tells him in the voice for God that all his sins have been forgiven him. Wow, holiness of healing. Okay, let's see what's going on around the world, and let's be sure to take with you all day today. I'm not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. Okay, today it's a Bodhi Day. Bodhi Day is a Buddhist holiday. It's when Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha. We became enlightened sitting under a Bodhi tree. Let's see, Feast of the Immaculate Conception, and there's a little, I think it's either on the 8th or the 9th, depending on who you're listening to. So, not exactly sure. But anyway, Feast of Immaculate Conception, either today or tomorrow. Chocolate Brownie Day. Remember, the chocolate is the Theobroma cacao. Christmas Tree Day. Let me show you a few. These are a few trees that work good for Christmas trees. If you're going to grow some, these would be ones to consider growing. I've always thought it'd be nice to grow Christmas trees in pots. You know, you have to have a pretty good sized pot, but then just don't cut the tree down. Have them plant the tree. You know, they have it for Christmas. I thought if you put them in 5-gallon buckets or about 5-gallon pots, and then they use them for a Christmas tree, you could get them up 3-4 feet tall, I expect, and then they'd be a great tree to plant out. But here's some few that, find ones that work good in your area. But these are ones that are known for good Christmas trees. Fraser fir, Douglas fir, Noble fir, Scotch pine, white spruce, Norway spruce, and Arizona cypress. So anyway, Christmas Tree Day. Lard Day. Pretend to be a time traveler day. Of course, as we keep doing A Course in Miracles, we're going to start moving time, bending it, as I like to think of it. Because time and space are illusions that pass away when there's no need for them. But in the process, we can begin to have miracles and change what we thought had happened in time. World Choral Day, good day to sing with a bunch of friends. Worldwide Candle Lighting Day. Today's the day to remember children that have crossed over. And then we've got the Drumhead cabbage, or the shorehead cabbage, also known as the premium late flat Dutch cabbage, out of Seed Savers Exchange. And it says also known as the drumhead and the shorehead, introduced to the United States by German immigrants around 1840, listed in the 1924 catalog of D.M. Ferry and Company. Solid blue-green flat heads with white interior, weigh 10 to 15 pounds, excellent late fall or winter use, 100 days from transplant. And then our word for peace today is from the Romani language of, Romania, Central Europe. And the word for peace is Smirom. Smirom. So Smirom be with you. Okay, well, let's close with our song. And thank you again for joining me. Be sure to let your friends know that we'll be doing this on again next year. And they might like, the ones that you think might like to join us, invite them. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. The end of suffering cannot be lost. The gift of everything can be but gain. You only give, you never take away. And you created me to be like you. So sacrifice becomes impossible for me as well as you. I too must give, and so all things are given unto me forever and forever. As I was created, I remain. Your Son can make no sacrifice, for he must be complete because I am your Son. I cannot lose, for I can only give, and everything is mine eternally. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. The mercy and the peace of God are free. Salvation has no cost. It is a gift that must be freely given and received. And it is this that we would learn today. And it is this that we would learn today. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. Thank you all so much for joining me and let me share with you. Let's use our words to spread the great message that we are free from sin and that heaven is here and now. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. Smirom.